Hi guys, welcome to Reddit Rabbit Hole. Today, we are looking at the question, what is a basic computer skill you were shocked some people don't have? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, so YouTube gods are pleased. Without further ado, let's get started. Had a situation happen with an older coworker when I worked at Pizza Hut who knew I was in college for CS. She walked up to me with gusto and says, I need a windproof Wi-Fi router because the wind keeps blowing it away. Then when I try to explain to her that wind doesn't blow away Wi-Fi. I shit you not, this lady goes, no wonder you can't get a job in computers. A couple hours later, she's outside on the phone, cussing out the ISP because they told her the same thing I did. Turns it was orchestrated by her grandson telling her to ask for windproof routers. Like when your dad tells you to go to AutoZone to ask for blinker fluid. Reading. You don't know how many family members have asked me to come help them because something popped up. Them, why has it popped up? Box says update will happen tonight. Me, there is an update coming, nothing to worry about. Them, oh wow, I'm so bad with this I wish I understood it like you. It's in plain English, just read the screen, god damn it. I was in the hospital when my 4 to 5 year old roommate asked me to help him with his new phone. He got an older model that functioned like an old Nokia to make it easier to use for tech-illiterate people. He couldn't figure out to unlock the screen because whenever he tried pushing any button, a weird message appeared on screen. It simply said press to unlock. It literally tells you what to do. How can you not figure it out? Often I explained it to him in a friendly manner, while he acted like I was a freaking wizard for knowing so much about phones. My mom kept noticing that my stepdad would turn on caps lock to capitalize a sentence, but then forget to turn it off so his full sentence would be in caps, and he would get frustrated and have to delete it and start over. She showed him about the shift button and how it'll capitalize that letter if you're holding it down. This just happened, like last week. He's been employed in the legal system, think lawyer, clerk, prosecutor, etc., in my county for the last 40+ years. He's been in an office setting this entire time. I used to tutor for my university before I graduated this past December. And I had to teach literally so many college students how to use Word/Google Docs. And I'm talking young like 17-24 olds how to do basic commands on Word. Like the tab key can indent a paragraph, how to write and center a line text, how to change font/word size, how to insert page numbers, etc. It still baffles me how you can go to college in this day and age and expect to not have to learn this stuff. I had one girl come in, and she was asking why her computer kept putting red lines in her paper. So I opened the document and literally the whole thing is a paragraph spanning 4 pages with hundreds of spelling mistakes. It took me an hour just to get her to understand how to use the spell checker and format paragraphs. Tabbing, sure. I admit I'm most familiar with Windows, so that probably plays a role too, but when I've used a Mac, the mouse seems more obligatory. I've even asked more experienced users if there was a shortcut sometimes, and they didn't know one. Perhaps they do exist, but they're even less known. To give a pretty obscure example, can you resize a window or move it around the screen using the keyboard on Mac? No, I would normally do that on Windows either, but I can if I need to for some reason. First, it is awesome you did tutoring for folks whether paid or as a volunteer. The patience and kindness there is awesome. That said, if these are older folks, remember, they can have vision problems that make the arrow hard to see, so changing the settings in Microsoft for the disabled may make all the difference in the world. Also, peripheral neuropathies in the hand may make operating a mouse harder. You didn't say the C's were older people, but they sometimes are more reluctant to admit or realize that they have an ability deficit. After a lifetime of being fully competent and raising children, it is understandable that they find admitted weaknesses and declining capability hard. We all will. Again, even in the form of laughing at lack of skills, it is nice to see kindness is prevailing. I'd buy you a beer or a joint or whatever's legal if I could. Lol. I've got you beat. My mom once called me frantic. Her computer was completely broken. Everything is black. It's completely broken. I can't do anything. So I ask, what do you mean it's black? Like the computer won't turn on. Or what is black? She just keeps telling me how it's completely broken and everything is black. And that's literally all she can describe. The computer is black and broken. So I think to myself, oh fuck, gonna have to buy her a new computer or something because it's an all-in-one. Shit. So I go over and then I see the problem. I was sharing my work Office 365 account with her, and I had set it to a dark theme, which apparently is an account-wide setting, so it set her Outlook and Word also to a dark theme. The entire computer was black and completely broken just meant that her office had the dark theme. I know people who are studying to work in administrative jobs who don't even have the simple idea to sort their files in different folders. One of them is a single mother. She asked for my help once with her computer. Everything is dumped either on the desktop or in the Documents folder, whether it is bills, her kids' school reports, her latest homework, or selfies. And obviously, she never saved her files on an external drive or in a cloud. Her computer is old and just waiting to die. When it happens, she's in for a huge headache. I tried to help her by advising her to at least get a USB stick and save her most important documents, but she answered that as she was a single mother, she did not have time to do that, and that I would understand when I get kids. My girlfriend always thought I was super smart and could solve every computer problem through sheer force of my brain. Then I was helping her with a computer issue, and after exhausting the basic troubleshooting steps I had, I Googled her issue with some specific keywords and got some help articles to work off. She was blown away. You just Google it. And I'm like, yeah, there are no unique situations, and someone smarter than me has solved this issue before. She came home from one of her classes the other day and proudly told me one of her students had a camera she had never used before and she used Google to look up how to put it in RAW mode. I was so proud and congratulated her on now being qualified to be a web developer. Okay, so I work as a Best Buy computer tech in the early 2000s, right around the time they were buying out the Geek Squad. I tell this story realizing how utterly ridiculous it is, but I attest that it happened as I tell it. I'm at work, and the phone at our workbench rings. A woman is on the line, clearly stressed. Woman, hey, I just wanted you to know that your servers are on fire. Me, I'm sorry, what? W, your servers, they're on fire. I was shopping on your website, and my computer started smoking. It takes me a moment to begin to grasp the situation. Me, wait, ma'am, is your computer on fire? W, well, it's just smoking right now. Me, man, you need to hang up and call the fire department right now. W, oh, okay, thank you. Click. So, this happened almost 20 years ago, and here is what I have deduced probably happened. She was on the Best Buy website when something happened to her PC. Probably full of dust and it started smoking. Since she doesn't understand the internet, she assumes that when she goes to our website, it connects to the closest Best Buy. She linked connecting to our servers with her computer catching fire. She thought the fire made its way through the phone line to her computer and made it start smoking. She wanted to let us know so we could fix the problem on our end. I cannot guarantee that's what she thought. I sometimes think about this when I am lying in bed and can't sleep. I'll never know for sure. If anybody creates a time machine and wants to make a pit stop on the way to Hitler, hit me up. TLDR, while working at Best Buy, a woman called in to tell us our servers were on fire because her PC started smoking while she was browsing the BB website. Edit. Fix 2 words pointed out by a right good chap. The ability to follow a step-by-step how-to instructions. Example, I worked with a place that used a lot of pictures files. There was an issue where we couldn't open .jpeg files, but .jpg were okay. So you would have to rename the files to .jpg. I got my first batch of ~100 JPEG files and said, there must be an easier way. Everyone insisted you have to do it one by one. So I looked it up online and found that you can change file extensions in bulk using the command prompt. It literally took 5 steps. I made an easy-to-follow instructional document with screenshots and passed it around to everyone. I thought they'd be very thankful that I saved them hours of work. A month later, I caught them renaming each file one by one. I didn't say anything. ETA since this got popular. I couldn't just edit the default program to open the files because this was for a plugin within another application to organize the picture files. The plugin did not recognize the extension, so it has to be changed. I shared the how-to with my coworkers because they were always complaining they were too busy. Some were behind in their KPI by months and subject to a lot of customer complaints, so I thought they would appreciate this. Also, I'm not a programmer and have nothing to do with IT, so if there are other ways to do this, I was not aware at the time. I literally just Googled how to do it, and this came up, and it worked. Slightly more complex, but similar scenario. I worked a job where one task was taking hundreds or thousands of images from various sources and uploading them to a network image server. There was a web-based GUI tool for this, but could only upload one file at a time. Some of my coworkers would spend days just on this task, which was nowhere near the most important stuff we had to do. I wrote a quick bash script of just a few lines that watched a local folder for image files, recursively in case you unzipped your images into the folder with subfolders, batch renamed them, and uploaded them to the server via command line. Aliased it so all you had to do was open a terminal and type image upload and walk away from your computer. Never had to worry about that task again. I passed around the script file with instructions to my team, thinking I'd done a good thing because I was saving them literally half their week some weeks. Not a single person used it and kept using the GUI tool. Oh well. Just Friday I had this conversation. User, I need to do task in Dayforce, but when I click on it, it doesn't work. Me, looking at his screen from behind him. Oh, that because you are using Internet Explorer, it works the most basic functions, like clock in and out, but not much more. You need to use Chrome for that. User, blank stare, me. You should be using Chrome for most, if not everything relating to Dayforce. User, blank stare, me. Open Chrome. User, opens Chrome. Me, go to the Dayforce website. User, log in here. Default homepage is our ERP software that he uses regularly in Chrome. Me, no, Dayforce. That is the ERP software. Go to the Dayforce website. User, stares blankly. Me, the Dayforce website you were on in Internet Explorer. Go to the same place, but on Chrome instead. User, starts typing password into ERP login screen. Me, no, that's the ERP soft. User, I know I use this every day. Me, takes his keyboard and goes to Dayforce website for him here. Log into Dayforce here. User, oh sorry, I'm not good with computers, I just don't understand this stuff. I have a relatively firm personal policy of not getting upset with people for not understanding how to do things. However, the thing that really bothers me is willful ignorance. Going to actual websites is something that has been around since the beginning of the internet. I noticed in this thread there are a number of people complaining about watching someone Google, so they get to the Google homepage to do their search. I'm okay with that. At least they are getting the info they are looking for. But the people that just stare blankly when you tell them to go to X web page, like you have just told them to assemble the computer they are using, bothers me. I teach a class in Revit architectural software. One semester I had a guy who just couldn't get anything to work. I kept explaining what he needed to click on. Still nothing worked. Finally, I go stand behind him and watch what he's doing. He was right-clicking his mouse. But that's not all. I tell him to left-click on the icon. He right-clicks again. I tell him the other button. Right-click. No, use the left mouse button. Right-click. I finally had to put my hand over his and push his index finger down to show him how to left-click. He finally got things to work, occasionally, but was FAR behind the rest of the class. And to top it all off, at the end of the semester, he asks if there's an advanced level course he could take. Literally just understanding how a computer functions, not grasping that a computer will do exactly what you tell it to do, 99.9% of the time at least. The number of times I've heard, why would it do that? When it's exactly what they told it to do. So many people expect computers to magically know the outcome they desire. Being able to encounter an issue or unexpected result, and then logically work back to what you probably did wrong is a skill so few people have. Also, anyone who thinks kids are all amazing with computers because they can stream YouTube from their iPad to the TV or control a Sonos system are drastically overestimating their understanding. If something doesn't work for many people, the extent of their troubleshooting is turning off on again or reinstalling the app. It makes me thankful I'm from a generation where you had to do things like set the right IRQ settings or create scripts and edit INI, etc. Where is the Start menu? Said by a student, medical secretary, in her final year. She also couldn't find Delete. Didn't know what the Shift or Tab buttons do. How do I get to so-and-so? You click on the arrow next to the date. Which arrow? The one right where your mouse is positioned. Let's go of the mouse. No, this is too much. You'll have to show me. She was 1 month away from her exam, about to be thrown into the hospital world. Spoke to her former supervisor who said, yeah, she was catastrophic. We almost didn't approve her. Really? Had to tell the poor sod that she had no possible way of passing this, and frankly, Your previous supervisors made a huge error in letting you pass. You will crash and burn and possibly make a horrendous mistake if you start working with these non-existing skills. I showed the school some examples of her work, and they agreed. Rather than repeat the course, she quit. A medical secretary's work consists of using computers every single day. If she was this catastrophic after almost 2 years of studying, there really was no hope for her, not to mention how poor her basic grasp of the language was. Not some people in general, but I do have an anecdote about a guy I hired and very quickly fired a couple years ago for fluffing his computer skills on a resume. Which isn't terrible, everyone does it. This guy said he was managing hotels and working with several programs, and I found that to be complete bullshit when he did no basic things like the difference between how to open or close Windows VS tabs, couldn't even PEC type, couldn't tell you when he was looking at the settings for the computer if they were in fact the settings for the computer, and sure as shit didn't know how to copy/paste, print, etc. He was in his 50s and claimed to be too old to know how to do any of these things. We also had to use iPads, and don't even get me started there. He kept whining about how it wasn't fair because I grew up with the technology and I kept having to remind him that I'm in my mid-30s, and I was also an adult well before the iPad came out. Buddy of mine, late 30s, was trying to get some sort of info from a YouTube video. In the video, they type something in and then say this will do blah blah blah, just copy and paste the link in the description. This motherfucker gets progressively more and more annoyed to the point he's like, fuck the video, fuck what I'm trying to do, I give up. Real mature, I know, so I'm like, yo, bro, what is going on? He explains that he's been pausing the video when the link appears, screen capping it, then zooming in on the pic and trying to type what he sees into his browser or whatever, but it was all pixelated cuz. Obviously, this isn't how they expected people to do this. I'm like, dude, are you serious? It's in the description just like they said, just copy-paste that shit. First off, he didn't know what copy and paste even means. Why he didn't just ask or look it up. But the real kicker is that he didn't know how to see the description, like the little down arrow that says read more next to it. He never knew what it was and never even thought to try it, let alone ask FK and Google. Me and this man recently had a falling out over vaccines, or rather his claim that vaccines don't do shit, and my opposing claim of your FK wrong, and I guess him noticing a trend now that I'm looking back. About a decade ago, I worked as a customer service rep in an Apple call center. After 2 years on the phone and thousands of calls, I had one conversation that seems to have stuck with me regarding this topic. A customer was on the phone with one of our level 1 advisors for about 30 minutes trying to figure out why her phone would charge but wouldn't be detected by the computer to sync data. She wanted to sync her photos and contacts and whatnot. After failing to get a hold of what was happening, the advisor put her on hold, then warm transferred her to me. At the time, I was a level 2 advisor, which really only meant I could make a couple small exceptions for repair and had the ability to call people back. I read the notes of the previous advisor while getting a rundown from the customer. I should also note that my direct supervisor was listening on the call remotely from his desk. I made the decision to have her do a few of the most basic steps again, making sure that no detail was missed. Try another cable, try another port, restart phone and PC. We hit the basic troubleshooting steps anyone would do for pretty much any general computer issue. From there we tried a second PC in the house, same issue. The phone would charge when plugged in, but wasn't detected by the computer at all. I had her double-check what third-party software was running on the main PC, possible antivirus or some sketchy anti-malware program or something. Nothing sounded out of the ordinary. She wasn't completely computer illiterate either. When directing her around her computer to try and identify programs that might cause issues, she followed along pretty well. After about an hour on the phone and exhausting all of the steps I could think of at the time, I decided to ask specifically where on the computer she was plugging the thing in. I had assumed she was using some USB port on the front, and maybe plugging it in the back was worth a try, a Hail Mary attempt at this point. We had already tried the second computer, so I was desperate for ideas. She said something to the effect of I am plugging it into the same port I am plugging my computer into. I was pretty confused, so I asked her to clarify. She pretty much repeated herself, but added into the wall. So after about an hour and a half on the phone, we figured out that to connect her phone to the computer, you have to actually plug it directly into the computer. My supervisor took me aside after hearing the entire call in real time for coaching. He said it looked like I needed a break. Sorry for the wall of text. The question made this call pop back into memory, and I felt I could probably share. Thank you everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe to make YouTube gods happy. See you guys in another video.